Hello, everyone. How are you all doing today?
Very
Good.
thank you.
10. All the best.
I'm good. I'm good. How's the lockdown treating everyone? Because that's always the first question you have to ask now. The last 4 months, how's lockdown?
It's been okay. I think that a lot of bad has come out of it, but it's quite nice to just sit with yourself for a while and just you don't have to meet anyone. You don't have to.
Nobody you don't want to. You get to know yourself a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a pretty nice time. I've just been like hanging with the kids, growing veg in the garden, writing. Yeah, it's been lovely.
Okay, well, happy to hear that everyone's having a great lockdown. Well, I understand that you shot season 2 pretty much back to back, or season 3 pretty much back to back with season 2. So luckily, we got to see this season, because if it had been delayed at all, who knows what might have happened. What would you say is the biggest changes for each of your characters this season compared to when we met them first in season 1? We won't count the movie just right now.
I would say most obviously for Jock, it's the fatherhood. he's a dad now, so obviously that's a big massive change in his life, and just about how he's adapting to it, and not necessarily growing up, but just still getting up to the same antics, but now with the baby. So that's a pretty massive change for him. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd say for me, it's the kind of, I don't want to say losing a best friend, but now I have to share a best friend with a baby. Because I'd imagine, I don't know, but I imagine that takes up a lot of your time, having another tiny human to look after. I can barely look after myself, so I can't imagine doing that. And also, I think Conor is he's kind of growing into his own skin. I feel like in season 1, maybe he just did whatever Jock told him to. He put a bit of thought into it and then go, yeah, you're right. Whereas I think now he has his own head. He's a bit more clued in. Maybe.
Yeah, I think he is. I've noticed the difference. Yeah, I think for Mairead, actually season 3 is a big turnaround for Mairead, because like season 1 and season 2, she spends her time chasing the lads, trying to get them under control, trying to get them to do the right thing constantly. Whereas in season 3, it's Mairead that kind of goes off the wall a little bit, and they're trying to rein her back in. So that was really fun to flex those muscles, literally and metaphorically. And yeah, we had a bit of crack. I think Mairead has a big turnaround in season 3. She gets a bit wild.
Well, Hilary, I'm not going to get into spoiler territory at all, but there is what I have now referred to as the montage of fuck-offs that happens in one of the episodes, where it's just you on one end of the phone. It just keeps coming back to you and just keeps saying fuck off over and over again. And it's one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time, because escalation of anger every time. And it just cuts back to the second you put the phone down, you're like, zen. And I was like, that is one of the best interpretations of an Irish mammy I've ever seen, to go from anger to calm so quickly. So,
oh yeah. Yeah, Irish mammies can do 0 to 60 in a hot second. Yeah, that's yeah, it was fun actually, because I remember the director at the time, Sean, just saying to me, "Okay, you're just gonna say fuck off like a bunch of times and in a bunch of different ways, and just do whatever you want." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, okay." So it was just, and that's what happened. That's the cut that you saw. So it was great fun. It was great fun to do.
No, it was very, very funny. So we're looking now at Alex and Chris. If you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd say if you started recording the movie, Alex, I think you would have been 17.
Yeah.
And Chris would have been about 20.
19. I think I turned 20 halfway through shooting it. Yeah.
Okay. And now we're 5-6 years on. Now, I will compliment you both in that you are blessed genetically that you still do pass for a certain age.
Just about.
Yeah.
But it is getting to, I guess, is there a concern at all that, the title, the young offenders, might no longer apply when it's like the young adult offenders, or, how much
the characters have
offenders.
Yeah. The characters have established, I think that's okay. I don't think people would mind if we did all of a sudden get very old. But there was a while in the script there where every now and again Jock might go, "We can't do that, boy, we're only 16." And we'd have to kind of pull the director aside and go, can we just not say we're 16? Because the minute you say that,
You can't do that. We're just young.
we're just young boys.
Yeah.
No, I think, yeah, so we live in this just kind of ambiguous young world. No one really has ages. Comment on society, really, is what the show's doing.
Well, I'd like to put like something to bed. Is that like I know Wikipedia is not the be all and end all of trusting anything, but it does say on Wikipedia that this is the third and final season of The Young Offenders. Is that it does?
For a while on Wikipedia, it also said that I was a 60-year-old bald man, and I had to get that changed. So I wouldn't trust everything you read.
Exactly. So that's like not accurate at all. That's just someone has mis
Yeah.
that.
I mean, who knows? Yeah, we don't. I don't think. To be completely honest, I don't think any of us know. You know, we'll see how it goes, and we've had so much fun doing it, and maybe it might go again, maybe it might not. I really don't think any of us know, to be honest.
Okay.
To tell the truth as well, yeah.
Okay. So like in this season, like as I was mentioned already, like I won't go into spoilers at all, but there's a lot of scenes that I found very, very funny, and putting myself in the shoes of the actors, there's some scenes that stood out for me, and I was like, holy mother of God, how did they do this without cracking up every single take? Because there's some things that like make my body want to snap in half with the cringe of what's happening. And there's just some one-liners as well that I don't know how you manage to get through a single take without just corpsing and laughing at each other's faces. But is there a scene in season 3 that comes to mind for Ichi that stands out for being particularly difficult, for being that funny to film for you?
Well, it seems to be usually the funny scenes that are on screen are funny. They aren't always the funniest ones for us on set because we know that they're kind of maybe gags, or we know they're funny, so that's fine. It's when it's late in the day and just the small things start becoming funny. Like at one point, PJ says to me and Chris, you know that little spark that goes on that's inside your head that tells you what to do? And I just couldn't stop laughing because I looked over to the left and I saw a spark who's an electrician on set. They're called sparks. And I just kept thinking, like, that little spark over there.
We couldn't stop. We just kept on like we nearly. It was towards the end of the day as well, and I think we had to get pulled aside, and they were like, "Hop on now." So it just makes it get worse and worse and worse. Yeah.
Yourself, Hilary?
God, put me on the spot. I don't know. It's normally when PJ's on set is when I find it hard to keep a straight face. I do remember. I can't remember much about season 3, to be honest, but I remember in season 2. There was when we were in the hospital and they were saying, you know, doing the bet about like, you know, taking care of the egg and all that. And that's at the start of season 2, as far as I remember. It's all a bit of a blur now. And PJ just started on one. He just started rambling on one. And I had to hide myself in the group scene. I tucked myself in behind Demi and I just could not stop laughing. No matter what I tried, there was tears rolling down my face. And then I looked at Alex and he kept on doing this thing at the end of that scene where he would walk away and walk into a chair, and it was just that day was too much for me. I was like, you may as well give my P45 that day because I didn't know.
There's also there's some great days on set where we get our family members in. Like my dad was the taxi driver in the Christmas special, so those kind of things are funny. Or in season 3 now, you'll spot Chris's dad, Martin Walley. He's filling up his tank with a car with petrol. And those
in F3, yeah.
Those are just inherently funny.
My niece in there as well, Jessica Rose. She's in there on one of the episodes. So here you go.
Miss Rose, my old French teacher.
Yeah.
Well, see, okay, so The Young Offenders feels to me like it's one of the kind of the new breed of Irish TV and movies. Like it's another thing in the last few years that I think Irish entertainment people are very proud of because it has taken up such great international acclaim. You see it this year again with Normal People, and there's a couple of movies that have taken off around the world. From your side of it, I guess before the world went into lockdown, did you notice much of a change in, say, movies and TV stuff that you were being offered? Was it of a different quality even in those 5 years, like people being a bit more not experimental, but like willing to do something that Irish TV and Irish film haven't really done before then?
Yeah.
I think I noticed just like the volume of work in Ireland increased enormously within the last 5 years. Like I started out as an actor 10 years ago, and when you start out as well, unless you get a break like the two lads did, like it's slim pickings and it's slow moving for a couple of years. But even in the last 5 years, I just think that the volume of stuff being made in Ireland is absolutely phenomenal, and the quality of is phenomenal. I think big productions like Vikings and Game of Thrones and all that stuff really lended itself to the production, to like smaller productions, because all of a sudden the world was sitting up and taking notice, going, oh my god, these are really highly trained cast and crew that are able to operate in Ireland, and there's new studios opening. And so for me it's more about like Ireland has now become, and the Irish film and TV industry has become a major player on the international field. So that's wonderful, and it's long overdue.
Yeah, and I think like the shows like Dairy Girls and hopefully Us in a way just kind of pave a way for this new Irish comedy that isn't all about just, it's not just Irish comedy, it's comedy that's made in Ireland. It's not all not knocking other shows that are like that, but it's just, I think it's quite refreshing just to know, hey, I know we have Irish comedy, but this is its own league. So yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff happening.
And final question: what's everyone up to next, or what has everyone got coming down the pipeline? Chris, I know you've got Pixie that you're in.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That seems to star half the famous world. As we at the IMDb page, I was like, good Christ, that's everyone.
Yeah. That was a bit mad, right? Because I was seeing that the casket at it, because I kind of got involved in that quite early on, so I was waiting to see what other actors were in it. So it was all just a bit mad. Then when I started seeing everyone that was in it, yeah, it was. But I just finished filming a series up in Belfast. Literally got so lucky. I finished on Friday, and then everything shut down on Monday.
Oh wow!
Bloodlands. So that'll be out. It's a new BBC crime thing. So that'll be out the end.
That's the James Nesbitt one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that should be out I believe the end of I think September, October sometime, but I'm not sure. But yeah, and then everything else that was coming up, God only knows when that'll kick off again.
Yeah. And Alex and Hilary?
Yeah, it's what helps is knowing that everyone was in the same boat. I mean, there are some jobs that are pushed and you don't know when they're going to start back up, but it's so hopefully at either the end of the year or early next year, hopefully things will kind of start back up again. But it is good to know that it's not like it's a personal attack on me. No one could work in the whole world. So
for me, I jumped onto Amy Huberman's Finding Joy season 2 at the end of last year before Christmas, and then I was on Smother, which is a thriller drama TV series that was being shot in Lahinch. So we actually had to shut down, I think, a quarter of the way through. So that's going to pick back up in September. So I think they were one of the first productions to shut down actually in the country, but that'll come back in September. So we're going to finish that. There was something else in Belfast that I was down for that I think is completely postponed until next year. And in the meantime, I've started a blog, which is launching on Friday, which is livewild.ie. So I've been keeping busy in lockdown.
I'm almost surprised how productive everyone has managed to be during lockdown. But congratulations to you all on season 3. Make sure everyone listening or watching or reading that they do tune in for the new season. And everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for talking to
Cheers.
us.
Cheers.
Good luck.